The words saving and investing are sometimes used interchangeably, but when it comes down to it, our next guest says we should consider both separately to secure our financial future. Dilys de Cruz is the Vice President and Head of Wealth Management at Meridian Credit Union. Welcome back to What She Said.
Great to be back.
Good, because you've been sending in your peeps. We want you. So studies say that if people don't start investing early, they seldom get around to it. So
Right.
what is the difference between a saver versus an investor? Because I think I'm a bit more of a saver. And I think of Christine as a bit more of an investor because she tracks everything. She follows. She's involved. I'm sort of passively investing.
Oh, okay. So I would say the difference between a saver and an investor is a saver would put money into a savings account, a bank account, maybe a term deposit or GIC, and it's more short and medium term.
Okay,
outlook.
so then I would count as an investor because I have a
right.
TFSA and RSPs.
Right. And an investor would be more longer term outlook. You want to make your money grow and you're into the markets as well. So I think that's how you would. So are you invested in the markets?
I gather my RSPs are through my manager, yes.
Okay. So you would be an investor and
Okay.
a saver, right? And so I think that's the important thing. Sometimes people, firstly, don't get into the market soon enough. And I think it's really important at a young age to start investing in the market. And so we'll talk a bit about that because you have a longer time horizon, right? You can ride the waves, but you also need to save, right? And so no matter what stage you're at, you have to kind of think, what are my short, medium, and long-term goals? Am I saving for a house? Am I having a baby? Am I just out of school? Do I want to buy a car? That would suggest that let's set up some savings accounts and start saving. And so I think it's really important to sit down and say, what are my goals and what do I want to accomplish, regardless of whether I've just gotten out of school, I've just gotten married, or I'm in my mid-50s, right? And then within that, identify a plan and say, here's how I'm going to get there. And so this whole notion of investing sometimes scares people. I want to talk a bit about that. When's the right time to get in? People sometimes get really kind of flustered. Well, the markets are down, I don't want to get in, so people are pulling out, right? Or the markets are too high, so I don't want to invest now. And so there's never a right time. And so I was, doing a little bit of homework on this, and I said, well, what if someone invested $10,000 10 years ago, and the markets didn't do well 10 years ago? That $10,000 would be roughly $40,000 10 years later, just by writing it out.
Even though the last decade was brutal.
Yeah, because 10 years ago, 2008, 2009, the markets took a significant hit.
Yeah.
And so if you had just invested right around that time and you just sat tight, it'd be worth around $40,000. Now, is that going to happen again? We don't know.
But if you'd invested in something like Apple 15 years ago, you'd be a multi-millionaire.
Right. And so, you never know. And it's this whole market timing. You don't know. We don't know. If everyone knew, you'd be everyone would be rich. But it's really important to get in at any point in time. And the best entry point is start small. You can invest in a mutual fund for as little as $25 a month or biweekly, and you don't feel it. And that's called dollar cost averaging, where you just put in a little bit at a time. So now you're riding the market, right? If it's high, you're just averaging out your investment.
But I mean, the obvious thing is obviously to get a broker, get a financial advisor
yes.
who, when you sit down and talk to them and say, I'm nervous about the market, I'm nervous, will assess your risk, right?
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, people say, well, and we've talked about this, a broker will look at you once you have some money, quite a bit of money. And so how can I, who has nothing, I've just graduated, or I'm broke because I'm paying up.
Have nothing. There's a song there.
We'll break out in song. Or you're like swimming in debt, right? And I hear this all the time. Like whenever I talk about, I hate that word wealth, right? If I could take it actually out of my title, I'd take it out of my title because it can be intimidating. And so everybody should be sitting with an advisor. And there's advisors that can help you at every level to say, here's how you can get invested and what's your risk tolerance.
But you said you need to start young. How young are we talking?
Well, my daughter's 19. I said, we're going to get you in a mutual fund. Honey, we're going to do that, right? So we have a promotion on right now at Meridian. I'll talk a bit about that in a second.
Ooh.
Well, actually, I'll talk about it right now.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So we are calling it a First Investor campaign to help people, and it's under $50,000. So if you have $500, that's all you need. You can get an Amazon gift card up to $200, and then we'll top it up if you do regular investments, so monthly or as set pre-authorized contribution. You'll get a 1% top up over and above that if you kept it in for 12 months, right? So I said to my daughter, that's launching this week, so let's get you in $25 a month. She doesn't have consistent paycheck coming in. She's doing an acting career, so she's getting money different ways. But I said $25 a month, easy way to get in, and you get an Amazon gift card out of it. But I would say right away, as soon as you get your first job, $25 is nothing, right? And biweekly, if you've got a paycheck coming in biweekly, I'd say $25 every 2 weeks. You don't feel it.
What about people who have student loans? Would you pay that off first, or would you do it concurrently?
Yeah, so I think that's when you want to sit and talk to somebody.
Exactly.
I have always kind of done both, right?
Yeah.
I've carried debt and paid off and saved at the same time, so I'm never like near here or there. Because if it's small enough, why not? But I think you'd want to sit down and put your whole financial situation, have someone talk to you, and then say, is there an opportunity for me to save, or should I be really, depending on my debt level, just focused on this completely? But I think that's exactly when you should sit in front of an advisor to get that opinion, because it's so hard to decide. And I've told you guys this as well too. I'm in the business and I have an advisor because I get overwhelmed. I need someone to sit down and go, okay, help me figure this out, because I don't have time to think about it.
Also, they're a little bit at arm's length, and so they can really look at your situation, whereas people have emotional reactions to money.
Yes. Yeah.
Everything to do with money, right? We've talked about this before. Yes. And so
my daughter, who is at U of T Law, says, I have trouble with debt. It's like, yeah, you don't have any.
She has trouble with debt.
Yeah. I don't know why you're having trouble with this debt.
Because you're carrying the debt.
Yeah. That's okay. She doesn't like to talk about it. It's like convenient for you, like to talk about it. We do.
Yeah. And some people, that's the other thing, right? Some people just don't want any debt, right? And some people are, I'm okay carrying that debt. If it's low interest debt, it might be okay to carry it. If you're it's, under 5%, then why not save at the same time? If it's 21% on a credit card, then you're going to want to pay that off.
Yeah, that's true. But you definitely should consider both saving and investing, and split it like what, 50-50, 60-40?
Yeah, so it again, how much are you getting in, right? So what is your paycheck? What do you have to pay for student debt? Do you have a car loan? All that kind of thing. But I think that's where the savings comes into it too, right? So if you want to save for a car, and this is my other little tips, if you're working, definitely take advantage and maximize whatever your company offers, whether it's pension. So a lot of companies have a pension plan, a voluntary RSP contribution plan, and a savings plan, so you could do it all in one shot. Comes right off your paycheck.
So you never see it. That's what I did.
Me too.
Like they matched us for stock too. Remember for a while?
Yeah.
They matched us
and
for
so
stock
sometimes
dividend.
there's the pension. So I do a pension and a voluntary RSP, so I don't have to worry about at the end of the year worrying about my RSP. And if some companies actually have savings plans too, so you could actually do all three there, get it off your paycheck. But the other thing to do it is you can just do pre-authorized transfers from your account. And I'm a big advocate of having several different accounts, savings accounts. I do. So if you're saving for your vacation, I want to go on vacation next year, so start putting, after every pay, $25 or $50. I'm saving for a car, have another savings account for that. I want to buy an expensive purse. No, I don't know, whatever it is.
Do you know my daughter? Have you been conferring with her?
Save for the purse.
She did point out that some expensive handbags increase in value.
Yeah.
And my husband was he's like, Dad, they're an investment. He likes watches. She likes handbags.
So she should have a purse account. Yeah.
Yeah.
So have Meridian, you can have savings accounts. Doesn't cost you anything. And I have like 3 or 4 of them for different reasons. And so that way you can just allocate. And then obviously one of my favorite things is when you use your debit card, have $1 or $2 always automatically transfer to a savings account. You'd be surprised how fast that adds up.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Now, tell us once again, before we go, how you get hold of this Amazon gift card.
So you have to come into a Meridian branch and see an advisor and ask them about it, because we're not broadly going out and advertising, but I'm telling everybody who's listening today about it. So
Shh, don't tell everyone.
But I'm telling everybody here. So just go in there and say, I heard about the Amazon gift card offer, and I want to talk about investing, and just go into a local Meridian branch. You can pick it up on our website.
Do you think they'd believe that we were first time?
No.
But you don't have to be first time. Here's the other thing. We're calling it first time investor, but you don't have to be. So it's up to $50,000. Anybody can come in. So Christine, if you want an Amazon gift card
Ooh,
and a 1% over.
Yeah.
Okay. And the website is
meridiancu.ca. Go in there and find a branch location near you.
Thank you.
Okay.
She said